So I'm going to talk about the BabyPAC ventilator, which is a gas-driven ventilator, so does not need any electricity. It's very good for ventilating babies up to around 10 kilograms, maximum 15 if their lungs are really good. The CAT team also uses it, so it's very good for transport, and it can be used for short-term ventilation. It's very basic, and you can't use it for long-term ventilation, or as I said, if the baby is a bit bigger or heavier and the lungs are stiff. So if it's a bad RDS or a child has got a severe pneumonia, you might struggle to ventilate with this one. So in that case, you'll have to go for the bigger one, which is called the Oxylog, which is next door. But we'll talk about this quickly. As I said, it's driven by gas, so it can be either air or oxygen. So you can have either or, you don't have to have both. You can run it on just a CD oxygen cylinder or air. So as you all know, black is for air and white is for oxygen, and they are not interchangeable. So we will put in both. What I would like you to do is note the change in color of the air and oxygen here. So I'm going to put the air one in, and this should turn white as soon as this goes in. Okay, so that should have gone white. The oxygen is still red, and now I'm going to put the oxygen, and that should go white as well. Okay, and you do a quick test to make sure that you are snugly fit in. Now both of them have gone white, and that is the circuit which is kept in the box here. The good thing about this is it's got two ends, and these two go into the inspiratory and expiratory component of the BabyPAC ventilator. Again, they are interchangeable, so you don't have to worry too much about them. You can put either anywhere. So one goes in here, the second goes in here, and this is the tube end. We should always have a HMO filter, which is to retain humidity, and they are kept in the airway tray. One end goes here, and the second end goes into the tube, the endotracheal tube. We will attach a dummy for demonstration today. Now we'll go one by one on the dials. So first one is the higher pressure alarm limit. This is the most important dial in BabyPAC ventilator, and it should not be set more than 30-35. That is the peak inspiratory pressure alarm limit. If you have it, if you need to turn it more than that, you have to be conscious about that, because then it will deliver very high pressure and cause a pneumothorax if the child is very small. So you have to be very careful that this dial is not more than 30. The next one is a dial showing the peak inspiratory pressure and the peak and expiratory pressure, that is the PIP and the peak. We will look at it later when we change the settings. This one is, it might be difficult to see from there, it says inspiratory time. Now the only drawback with this ventilator is you cannot set a rate directly. You'll have to work on an inspiratory time and set an expiratory time to come to a rate. Now I like to say the inspiratory time, because again these children are small, for ease of calculation I say inspiratory time of 0.5 seconds. And if you want to set a rate of 30, the expiratory time should be around 1.5 seconds. So that is a 2-second respiratory cycle, 60 in each, and you get a rate of 30 breaths per minute. So that's, if you want to change the rate, there is a table here which will tell you what the inspiratory time and expiratory time should be to achieve a particular rate. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning when you can't think, you can look at the table and set it up. But let's leave it at 0.5 and 1.5 at a rate of 30, which is pretty good rate. This dial is for oxygen concentration, and as you can see it's got three colors: red, yellow and white. Now it says here, if you read the white dial, if you are connected just to oxygen, for example if you are transporting or if you are connected to a cylinder, you look at the white dial, and the white numbers go from 50 to 100. So minimum with oxygen only you'll be able to give us 50%, the maximum you can go to 100%. If you look at the yellow dial, it says oxygen plus air. For example, now we are connected both to oxygen and air. So we'll have to look at the yellow dial, which goes minimum to 21, which is air, and maximum up to 70%. If you want to give more than 70%, you basically just take off the air, you'll be in oxygen and you'll be able to deliver 100%. The red means you're in high oxygen category. So you should try and keep as low as possible, depending on what the saturations are. Next dial is the PEEP, which is the peak and expiratory pressure. You may not be able to see it properly unless you connect the ventilator to the baby, because you'll have to then have some intrinsic PEEP from the child and some PEEP of which you are delivering from the ventilator, and then you'll be able to read it on the dial. And the next one is the peak inspiratory pressure, the PIP, which should be normally set at around, depending on the lung condition, between 15 to 20. Let's say, for example, we set it at 20. And the PEEP, there is no number. As I said, you'll have to read it on the dial, because the intrinsic PEEP will also play a role in the final pressure achieved. And the last one is the on and off dial. So as you can see, at the moment it's on 0. The next one down is CMV plus PEEP, and then further below is CMV plus active PEEP. In most situations, we like to use the CMV plus active PEEP, and I'll tell you why. You'll be able to hear what the difference is. So I'm going to first of all go on to CMV plus PEEP. Now there's also a dial here which is CPAP, and another one is called IMB plus CPAP. We don't ever use that, so don't worry about those two. Just use CMV plus PEEP and CMV plus active PEEP. So I'll go to CMV plus PEEP at the moment, and what you'll see is that the lungs are, this is a dummy lung, is inflating and deflating. So what this is doing is giving you the PIP, the peak inspiratory pressure, but in between there is no noise. You can't hear any air flow. That means in between, if the lungs are bad, they may collapse. And that's why it's important to try and use CMV plus active PEEP, and you'll notice the difference at the moment. When I turn it to CMV plus active PEEP, there will be a constant airflow. Now you can hear there is constant airflow and the lungs never deflate. So there is an active PEEP delivered at all times, and this is the preferable mode of use. The only time you'll use CMV plus PEEP without an active PEEP is when you want to save gas. So if you're on a transport, if you're on a lift and you're on a very small CD cylinder, you may want to go to CMV plus PEEP, and that will save you gas. But if you're connected to wall oxygen and air, always use CMV plus active PEEP. Alright, so now you'll be delivering a PIP and a PEEP, which will keep the lungs nicely inflated, and then all you have to do is, once you connect the baby to the ventilator, you look at the chest wall rise. It's very important to see that the chest wall is rising when you have connected the ventilator. If it's not, then you disconnect, back the baby again while you reset your ventilator and make sure that it's connected properly. So we'll go through the dials quickly again. Alarm. These both should turn white if they are connected. The dial. Then this is the inspiratory time, the expiratory time to set a rate. The fractional oxygen concentration, the PEEP, the PIP, and the on-off switch. So we'll look at the dial again when we switch it on. So as you can see, it's now going up to around 20. We are at 20. And the PEEP is sitting at around 10, which is quite high. So I may want to drop it a little bit. And then you'll be able to see the number here. Okay, very easy to set, very easy to use. Just make sure that the lungs are expanding. If they are not, possibly either your settings are not right or you need a bigger ventilator. Okay, and then maybe leave 5-10 minutes and do a gas to make sure you got enough CO2 clearance. Otherwise, you may have to increase the PIP a little bit or the rate. Okay, thank you very much.